Townhomes have always been a great choice for buyers. They give you a lot more benefits than living in a condo apartment, but they also give you a lot more freedom and ownership, just like a detached home. So as you can see right here, there has been a huge growth with townhomes over the last 8 to 10 years in what has been built. And then in 2021, we saw more interest in townhomes because the conversation around affordability just continued to happen locally as well as across the country. And then as we moved into 2022, we started to see the market slow down, but townhomes were setting records in sales because they were a very affordable and an attractive option for many, many buyers. And as we head into 2023, the townhome conversation, townhouses are still a big topic and a lot of interest for a lot of people, and we haven't seen a decrease. So what benefits are there for choosing a townhouse? Well, let me share a few with you. The first one's affordability. This has been a big conversation over the last 2 years of why people are choosing to buy townhomes instead of detached properties. And it simply is because they're more affordable. The thing that you have to be aware of is you do have condo fees. So when you're going to your mortgage broker and you're trying to get approved for a townhouse, your approval amount is going to be less than what you'd approve for without condo fees. So just be aware of that. Second thing is low maintenance. I mean, you have someone to take care of your space outside, the exterior of your property. You don't have to worry about these things because it's all a part of your condo fees. So make sure you're buying into a really good complex that allows you to be able to kind of enjoy the amenities that you have there. And the third one is community. It's shared amenities. These are really, really important things because this is what you're paying into. So you want to have a complex that you're a part of that has great amenities, like this right here with a playground in the middle. The fourth one is location. Townhomes are typically located in fantastic areas that are quick access and getting out of a community. They're not in the middle of a community because they're kind of on the outside. So you have quick access getting in and out of a community when you're living inside of a complex of a townhouse. Now the next one, I don't even know what number we're on anymore, is outdoor space. So as you can see behind me here, you end up having sometimes big green spaces, playgrounds, things like this that are a part of a complex. And having the outdoor space can be really, really beneficial because sometimes you only get a smaller balcony and you don't have that yard space. But if you go into an older townhome or some certain newer ones, you can sometimes get a small yard attached to your back of your unit. Now, 3 more. Privacy. This is a great one because you get a little more privacy compared to apartment condos. You typically don't have someone above you and you do have people beside you, but typically that's where you get the noise, right? So that's kind of a nice thing. Investment. With the popularity of townhomes, and townhomes are going to be a great investment in the future, and we see them being something that is going to grow and only grow in the future. And the last one is lifestyle. Living in a townhouse is a fantastic opportunity for those who want to have a lifestyle that you can come and go and enjoy something like this all year round. So I want to share some data with you, some points inside the studio, but if you don't want to watch the data and you want to skip to just find out what the communities are, that's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but we'll see you in the studio. Let's take a look at the data. Townhomes have exploded over the last 8 to 10 years compared to the last maybe 30 or so years in new development. And since 2015, you can see right here that townhomes have decided to be built, to be taken off, to have a lot more built each month. So these lines represent how many inventory of new property or new townhomes being built. And since 1990, there hasn't been a lot. You actually see more rentals being built in the 90s, early 90s compared to now. But you can also see more rentals being built here. The blue line is for homeowners, is for sellers, is for you who want to buy. So that got us thinking. We wanted to take a look and say, what decades, what era of home over the last year, like what's kind of been selling? And so all of the sales for the last 12 months in Calgary specifically have all been, 32% of them have all come from 2010, that decade, 2010 to 2019. The next highest decade was actually 1970. So you got 1, you got 2, and the third one was the 2000s. So 2000 to 2009. And so I found that very, very interesting. Now, where are these townhomes in the city? Well, this is the first chart I'm going to show you. When we get to the next section of this video, you're going to learn more about that too. However, in the 1970s, you can clearly see this is from the east side of the city, the east zone. So yeah, almost like what, 75, 70, whatever percent of all 1970 product townhomes were sold in the east zone of the city. And then when you get into 2000s, you actually have, it looks like the Northwest is the highest there, and that's probably about a 35 or so percent. Still, Southeast and City Center were over 20% of the sales there for that era. And in the 2010s, you actually have Southeast is your clear winner with 60% of the product in that zone coming from that era. And then you've got North, you've got Northeast, and you've got City Center. So these are where these townhomes were being built, where they're, and these are, again, this last data is all about the sales. This is all of what sold over the last year. So let's jump out. Let's actually talk about the individual communities and where you should consider buying that townhome. So what do you think of the data? Well, let us know in the comments any questions, thoughts, ideas that you have for the data that you saw. But where are you gonna buy a townhouse these days? Where are you gonna find stuff? Well, it's kind of hard to figure out. Even I had a hard time going through all of the data, understanding where things are moving, what's moving, because really you have two ways of trying to figure this out. And the first way is looking at data. It's looking at where are the gaps, what is a buyer's market, and where are you gonna have less competition, because you can easily see 20 plus offers on some townhomes right now in this market. The second option is figuring out your lifestyle, trying to figure out what is it that you really need, where is it that's gonna be the best fit for your family, for you, and trying to figure that out. And to be honest, the second one is probably the best solution right now, so let's start there. And there's a link in the description below that sends you straight to looking at all the townhomes available right now in Calgary and surrounding areas that we can actually help you with. So go ahead, do that, contact us with any questions. But here are 15 communities that you should consider buying in. But before I go do that, I want to show you this map right here. This map is all about the city of Calgary and the different decades. So you can see these circles and these rings. Over here in the middle is where the city center is. And as you move on out north and south, you have similar decades of homes that are being built. So I want you to know that before we kind of show you the map, because we're gonna plot all of these 15 locations and you're gonna see a pattern here. So the 15 locations, as I quickly go through them, in no particular order or anything at all: Cranston, Evanston, New Brighton, Killarney, Panorama Hills, Sage Hills, Mackenzie Town, Seaton, Copperfield, Nolan Hill, Walden, Redstone, Auburn Bay, Canyon Meadows, and Braeside. So what you can see, and if you watched all the data that I showed you before, the north and the south, there's some clusters of communities. These are all communities that have had at least 5 sales per month over the last 90 days, so that's 15 or more sales, still have active properties available for sale, and there's just activity happening. They're good locations, they're good neighborhoods. So you can see the cluster. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit newer, like 2005 or newer, these are probably the communities you want to be focusing on when you're looking. So if you're looking for older type properties, then these are a few of the older communities on the inner circles that you should be checking out. Now, if you are focused on data and you just want to find buyer market type communities in this market right now, we're going to show you that. But the reality is I'm making up this percentage, 90% of the communities are in a seller's market, and there's actually only 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 communities in all of the 180 or whatever communities in the city that are in a buyer's market for townhouse sales right now. So the first grouping of communities that you see on this map right here is Crestmont, Shawnee Slopes, and Edgemont. They all have 7 months, 6 months, and 4.5 months of inventory. It's moving really slow, is what I'm trying to say. And so they don't have a lot of sales, like 3, 1, and 2. There's a handful of actives, but the thing is, in these communities, there just is not a lot of townhomes for sale or complexes available, so there's just not a lot of activity. This next map here, Lower Mount Royal, Bridgeland, Mount Pleasant, and Earlton. These are all inner city areas, right? Respectively, they've got all 3 months worth of inventory. So they have all got about 4 or 5 sales over the last 90 days, and they have about 4 or 5 actives right now, but they're kind of older type of neighborhoods. And the last one that you see standing all by itself is Skyview Ranch. So it has, actually, there's 13 sales, so it has a lot of sales, but there's still 11 properties for sale right now, which gives it a 2.5 months, which is barely just in the buyer's market. But my guess here is there's probably a lot of overpriced stuff that is just sitting too long. Now, if you've watched this far, you've probably enjoyed this type of information, and this here is a video that we think you're also going to enjoy. So head on over there and we'll see you in that video.